The U.S. Army has cannons that can hit a small target 18 miles away with shells that weigh 100 pounds apiece. One of the units that are experts in firing those guns is from Maine. In part one of a two-part series, TV5's Alan Grover and photographer Mark Redeker introduce us to the 152nd Field Artillery Battalion as the troops practice their marksmanship in Utah.
Ready, stand by, fire!
Ask any of the 500-plus Mainers who man the guns of the 152nd Field Artillery, and they'll tell you it's one of the most exciting things they've ever done. It's also one of the most important things they do because the Pentagon has chosen the 152nd as one of the priority battalions in the Army.
They're expected that if the balloon goes up, that they'll be one of the units that deploy fairly quickly. This requires a whole lot more training and being a lot better at their job than they can afford to be if they don't get the types of training they need.
That all-important training is why the Mainers are here in the Utah desert. They'll be firing their M1 9 or 8 howitzers in wide-open territory, something that troops are unable to do in the forested and populated areas back east. Here at Dugway Proving Grounds, they'll also have to deal with such conditions as dangerous critters like snakes and scorpions, not to mention the 121-degree heat.
Feels like your feet are frying in your boots, and your boots are melting.
So this gave them a real good opportunity for the first time to train in a desert environment where they have a completely different type of fire mission, and everything is different. The weather, obviously the camouflage that they have to do. So this gave them a real unique perspective of war fighting in an area other than the type of land that we have in the state of Maine.
Hey, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Hey, everybody, keep an eye out on the flank!
It's now 1400 hours. The troops are geared up. Their equipment is ready. It's time to complete the mission that they came here for. Tomorrow, we'll take you up close to the big cannons as the crews do their stuff. Alan Grover, WABI TV5 News.
Fire a 100-pound shot here and hit a car on the street in Bucksport if they wanted to. I don't think they want to.
That's just incredible. Wow. If the U.S. goes to war, the troops of Maine's 152nd Field Artillery Battalion will be among the first to get their marching orders. That's because the 18 large cannons that the Mainers fire are essential to the Army's battle plans. Alan Grover and photographer Mark Redeker take us to Utah now for a training mission where the Mainers show their stuff.
In an actual battle, Maine's 152nd Field Artillery Battalion would set up behind friendly lines and fire their shells in a variety of missions. Those could include direct fire, in which the shells whistle along parallel to the ground to stop enemy troops, or harassment fire, used to tire the enemy in areas where civilians might be present, for instance.
Ready? Fire!
But usually, the Mainers would lob their shells with great precision onto enemy targets up to 18 miles away. Imagine firing a cannon in Bangor and hitting a car in Bucksport, and you'll know what kind of marksmen these Mainers are.
It takes a 10-man crew. You have several guys that are loading the ammunition. You have guys loading the bags. You have one guy that pulls the lanyard. And it's a full job for 10 men. The guys that are out on the gun lines, they need a lot of muscle and a lot of heart to make those rounds get down range.
Target number Mike 0088.
Before the gun crew pulls the lanyard, they need to know where to aim. That's the job of these Mainers, known as fire direction controllers. They use computers and other electronics to plot the proper angle and direction of the gun barrel, coordinates that they then transmit to the gun crew. Within a minute, the crew is able to load a shell and fire.
It can best be described as sending thunder and lightning directly in your area. And once that lanyard is pulled and the round is ignited, the ground shakes, the howitzer tube slams back, and it just feels like this giant explosion around you. And there's no better feeling than feeling that sound and knowing when you see that round hit its target that you've done your job well.
From here, these National Guardsmen head back to Maine, back to their families and full-time jobs. They take with them the training they'll need, as they say, to put steel on target. Alan Grover, WABI TV5 News.